Welcome to Real Lessons on Real Estate. I want to introduce my special guest today. Her name is Catherine Himelfarb, and she is from Forest Hill Realty in Yorkville. Is that correct, Catherine?
Yes, yes. So I own the branch in Yorkville, but I'm also very involved with the whole company, and I'm actually the newly named president of Forest Hill Real Estate.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's
That's
news.
exciting. And how long have you been in this fun industry?
32 years.
Okay.
So yeah, actually over 32 years now. And yeah, and I sold real estate for the first 20 years actively. I still sell real estate, of course, but I'm now also manage and own an office. So that's a completely different experience.
Of course it is. How many agents do you have there?
We have over 200 agents in our office.
Wow. So you're managing a
So,
big office. That's a big office.
yeah, it's grown quite a bit over the last 10 years, 11 years, and it's really been a fun experience. It's like an amazing journey.
It is a big journey, right? I've been in this industry 35 years myself. It's a big journey.
Yeah.
And
And
it's every day is a new exciting day, right?
you're absolutely right. No 2 days are the same. I'm still learning things. People always ask me questions. I'm like, I don't know. I never heard of that one. Like there's so many things that come across my desk that I've never heard of before, which is even still surprising now. So,
Oh, always. We're always ready to learn something new, and at the rate
yes.
that our boards change things up for us, it always keeps us on our toes, right?
That's for sure. That's for sure. A lot of changes in the last few years, especially. So,
Yes, yes. What brought you into this industry, Catherine?
my
How did you
mother's
start
actually,
it?
yeah, my mom's the founder of Forest Hill Real Estate. She founded
Oh,
the
good.
company at her kitchen table in 1985. She really did it just because there was about three or four women who were all in real estate together and they were working for a kind of difficult man. And they decided, you know what, let's just open our own little office and we can do our own thing. And they opened it up, or she opened it up within a short period of time. She had a couple of partners, and it grew to now over 1,000 agents. So what just turned out to be like, why don't we just do something ourselves? Turned out to be quite a big business.
A great business. That's a great name. Forest Hill has an amazing name.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
thank you,
Congratulations.
thank you.
So tell me, what did you do before real estate?
That's a good question that I never asked. I did fundraising, public relations, and event planning for nonprofit organizations, and a lot of
Oh,
writing.
okay.
So the fundraising is like the closest to real estate because you're asking for people for things that are a little uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
I definitely got on the job training for that. But everything else, I've used almost all of it in my real estate career, because writing you use, of course, and marketing and even event planning I've used when we do, special events in our office. And
Of course.
yeah, so it's like whatever you learn along the way, it all seems to apply to real estate. Like people who are
What type of
designers.
writing did you do?
Yeah. What did you do
What type
before
of
real
writing?
estate?
Before real estate, I worked for a big Toronto law firm as a law clerk
Okay.
for many, many years, had a great job, and I was moving into a different suburb from Toronto into what I call the burbs. And my realtor said to me, you'd make a great realtor. And I said, okay, I'll try. And that was that.
There's a lot of people
And
I've
here
said
I
that
am
to over
25
the
years
years.
later.
Yeah.
I think it's either really your thing or it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Like some people, I don't think ever really find their way completely, and others, it's just really natural for them.
Yeah, you really need a combination of talents. Like, maybe the first one is patience and people skills. And then after that, everything seems to follow. If you know how to speak to
Exactly.
people and you have that type of, personality that you're feel good about speaking out and speaking your mind and can articulate yourself well, then I think that really helps for sure.
Yeah, you have to be a true people person, I think, and you have to be really skilled at building relationships with people. I often hear realtors talking and they'll say, it's such a numbers game. And I always say it's not a numbers game. Not at all. I think it's a transaction based business, yes, of course, which converts to numbers. But realistically, if you're not good at building relationships with people, the numbers will never work for you.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, you're right. That's the first thing. Like when I remember I once interviewed a new agent and she came in and she sat down beside me and she said, I really want to be a real estate agent. Everyone tells me I'm going to be great at it, but I'm never going to sell to my family or friends or anyone I know. I don't want to deal with people I know. So what are you talking? That is who we rely on. Those are the people who are our bread and butter, and they give us our, our first chance and a boost. And when things are getting slow, they're the ones who are say, hey, why don't you list my apartment? Or, my daughter's looking to rent something, whatever it is, those are the people you rely on. So that person actually didn't make it as a realtor. They worked for a short time and they ended up coming to our office, but I tried to direct them, but they had this thing in mind that like the general public was going to all of a sudden flock to them, which unfortunately isn't the way. You really need to go to your circle of influence and your friends and families. And I always say your dentist and your manicurist and anybody those are your potential clients.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely, 100%. And then when we go back to talking about the numbers game, if you're building relationships with those people, being in the industry as long as you and I have, those people will provide you with business for years and years to come.
Yes.
I always say that I think every person we do a deal with in our lifetime, if we're in the industry a long time, will bring us 8 to 10 transactions.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that, but that's great and probably true if you do it right.
Mhm. Absolutely. If you're building a relationship with them and you don't forget about them after the transaction is done, and they love you, of course, you have to have done a good job. That's
Yes.
pretty important too. They'll continue to send you everybody that they know because they love you and they respect you and they trust you.
Yes.
Trust is a huge factor in this industry.
Yeah. No, I
People have to trust you.
absolutely. People have to trust you. And you have to be discreet and you have to be honest and ethical. And if you keep those things in mind and you
Absolutely.
give, I mean, the minute you deviate off that, you can lose a lot. You can just lose a lot. You have to stay the course. Anybody who's been in a business
Absolutely.
long term, that's what their reputation is. And there are a lot of people who have like really had unbelievable careers and are, been in business for 30, 40, 50 years and they're still going strong. That's the other thing. You never have to retire out of this business. Like what other
Oh,
business
I
is
know.
there
I
that you
know.
could do at 82 as well as that you could do at 62 and 42 and 22 and people are still calling you and still want to work
Of
with you?
course. Yep. I mean, even in my own career, 35 years, I see myself where I sold people now their children. Their children are having children, so it
Yes.
doesn't take too long to go down that food chain with them, right? So it's really important, I think, that you're always in touch with your database and that you're always staying in touch with those people to build a referral based network. I mean, I call that free money where I work when they just pick up the phone and say, hey, Lorraine, my daughter wants to buy a home today. In my world, that's just free money.
Yeah, there's no greater call than that call.
Exactly. They trust you already and they don't even know who you are.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you find the market now, Catherine? Tell me what you think about today's market.
It's so funny. People keep saying it's a buyer's market or they complain and say it's a horrible market. I just think that it's getting to be a more balanced market, that this is what it's supposed to be. Like houses are not supposed to sell in 5 days for 200,000 over what the last one on the street sold for. That is a really irregular market. And even though the sellers all want that to come back, and there's a lot of them are still stuck on the prices of that, bygone era. The truth is that what we're seeing now for taking, 45, 90 days for a house to sell and for you to have, multiple adjustments until you find your market, that's really what the real estate market should be. You know,
I agree with you completely. I think that's how it was when we started 30 years ago. That's
yes.
how
Yeah,
houses
you're
were
100%
sold.
right. 100%
And I
right.
think that's why seasoned agents will last a little bit longer in this market because they're accustomed to how that works. Newer agents, I would say, in the last 5 years are really struggling because they're used to the 200,000 over. And hey, I sold it in 4.5 hours.
Yes, yes. And that's impossible. And they're also used to not having to negotiate, doing it all in one offer or two offers. And the only thing they changed was the price. Now all of a sudden there's conditions and, and extra clauses and things that you weren't used to before. And maybe building inspections and pool inspections and stuff that were never there in the past that they ever had to deal with. And yeah, I think it's a challenge for them, but it's not that they can't do it. It's just going to be, it's something new. It's just a different kind of market that they have to adapt to.
Yeah, they've got lots to learn. I've even seen offers lately with condition on the sale of the purchaser's property in them.
Yes, I think that that's going to be the next thing, and people are accepting of it. That's the other thing, is that sellers are starting to learn and they're starting to accept those types of offers. I don't know. Are you finding that?
Oh yes, 100%, 100%. To me, this is a very, very regular market in the way that I started, like in 1990. This
Right.
is exactly how the market was.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
with the exception, even back then, we did a lot of VTBs, vendor
I
takebacks.
know. I know. No one even knows what that is today. If I were to say that
No,
to
they don't.
someone, they don't even know what it is. No.
And it's dating myself, so I don't talk about it too much. But I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw that come back in certain deals. And
Yes.
I haven't seen power of sale since probably the very, very early 90s. And now I see
Yes.
several, not a lot, but I have seen several power sale in the last month.
Yeah, so have we. So have we. They're starting to come back in our areas.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that's unfortunate because that means that people are having a problem and they can't pay their mortgage or whatever's going on. But yes, we are going to, it is a different, there were power sales in the 90s also. Lots of them.
Yes.
Lots of them.
Yes. Lots.
Yeah.
So where do you see this headed? What do you think is going to happen to us over, let's say, the next 2 years?
I mean, you know what? We talked to this guy from the Canadian Real Estate Association who's like a senior economist, and we always think that he knows everything that's going on in the Bank of Canada. His name's Sean Cathcart. If you ever want to like channel him, he's great. So one thing he's always said is he's been really positive, and he said there was going to be a boom this spring, and then the tariffs happened and that all fizzled away. So he expected the market to bounce back, like with it being more of a seller's market than a buyer's market. Didn't happen. And he said when that didn't happen, he now predicts that we're going to have the same, like our fall is going to be the same as our summer, the same as our spring. Nothing's going to change this fall. And this boom is still another year off. So, like, I don't think anything's changing anytime soon. I think that we are all going to have to just get used to this. This is the way things are going to be.
I think you're right. I agree with you completely. It's a tough market in the sense, and you mentioned it before, where sellers are shocked now when you go in and the price is not where they thought it was going to be. I always used to tell people throughout my career, I never was an agent that did a lot of price reductions. Just wasn't something that ever happened, and now I see it on every listing out there.
You have to
Price
do it.
adjustment, price adjustment. Yeah. Otherwise, the product isn't moving.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's funny because I heard one person that I work with who manages an office. He said, like the agents are saying, like, what do I need to do to sell my listing? What do I need to do? And his answer is give it away. Like
Hmm.
the buyers have to perceive that you're giving it away. Like you have to list under market, not at market.
Yeah, you're correct. You're absolutely correct. And is your area where you're working saturated with inventory, or how's the
Yes.
inventory?
Saturated.
Saturated.
Yeah, tons of inventory, tons, and everything
Yeah.
sitting. And unless it's priced really well, if it's priced well, it still sells. But and anything under like I think $2 million sells faster than three and a half, $4 million.
Of
Yeah,
course.
those.
Of course.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not. I mean, the condos are a whole other story. Forget about the condo market. I don't know when that's bouncing back or what's happening there. It's just there's such a glut, and there's still product coming on the market that's just getting completed and registered now. So we haven't even seen, the worst of it yet. But
Hmm.
for family, family residential single family homes, I don't think. I think that this is the market. It's just going to be this very steady. Like I think back, it's like March was the same as February, February is the same as April, April's the same as June. Like nothing's really changed in the last 4 months.
No,
We never
no,
had
not
a
at all.
spring market. We never had a summer market, like where everything dies. Like things aren't dying. Deals are being done.
No.
That's the other thing. Like,
Yes, they are.
deals are being done in July more than probably ever, but we didn't have that kind of rush of activity that we expect in May, June
That we want.
that we want.
That we want.
Yes.
I think the condo market is going to be sitting in a really bad position for probably 5 years.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Totally.
There's going to be
At
just
least five
floods.
years. At least.
Mhm.
And that,
Yes.
yeah, and that whole pre-construction market that we worked in for so long, I think we're looking at 10 to 15 years. I don't think
Yes.
those developers are all land banking. Like they're not developing, they're turning them in downtown Toronto. Those developments are now pickleball courts. And I'm
Yes.
not kidding. This is what they're becoming, pickleball courts. And if you speak to the developer, I spoke to one developer and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm trying to get in touch with the guy who does the pickleball courts." I mean, that's it.
Mhm.
It's just not this, they know there's nothing to do with that land. There's nothing, you don't want to build houses there. You don't want to build townhouses. You don't want to build anything. You just sort of want to just sit.
Absolutely. Out here in the Vaughan area where they're building condos, just a dime a dozen. I mean, there's just thousands and thousands of them that have gone up. And I predict like some of those buildings just sit practically vacant for years. They're just everywhere. And people cannot get out what they paid for them. It's not even close.
No, no, that's a really sad part. Like we've had clients like
Oh,
that.
very.
It's terrible. People are losing their shirts and their agent said buy two and they bought two. And you know what? I can't even blame the agents for saying that because everyone was making so much money, hand over fist.
Mhm.
They were assigning them for 100,000 over what they paid. They weren't paying tax because it wasn't monitored at that point. So they
Mhm.
weren't. It wasn't even. They just got this free money. They bought a condo for a year and a half. Then just before it was going to be registered, they sold it, and it was like the best thing in the world for them. That's not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw one on social media the other day that was listed 1 million under what they paid for it.
Oh. And they have
That's a
to
big
do
hit.
that. They're doing that because the developers are suing them. And they'd
Mhm.
rather just get rid of them and take a hit than
Yeah.
get sued. Yeah.
That's a very sad market. It's very scary.
I
Very,
know.
very scary.
Yeah.
And what do you think about agents? I see a lot of agents are dropping off of the real estate board like flies. What's the prediction for you there? Have you ever thought about that one?
No, I have thought about it. I mean, if you talk to like top agents, they'll say, "Great, get rid of like." They're happy. They're saying, it's time to separate the boys from the men, and we got just get rid of the people who are making one or two deals a year, and or even three or four, and that was covering all their expenses. Like we're better off without them because a lot of them they feel are not quality agents, or what they're
Mhm.
looking, the type of agent they want to work with, especially someone who's been in a lot business long term and does upwards to 10 to 20 deals a year. They they think that's good. I mean, I think it's still kind of sad, like that people are going to have to pull out of their careers because the fees are so high. I mean, the fees are high, and now we have the mandatory
Mhm.
health plan and all these things that are changing the whole dynamic of the real estate industry for the realtors. Together with like being really hard to make a deal, and the clients being hard to come by. I mean, you can have 100 buyers and take them out to see 20 houses each, and they may never buy. Like that's the other
Exactly.
change. They work a lot with
That's why I
builders.
always tell everyone you have to become a listing agent.
Yeah, that's what they
If you're
say.
coming into
Listings
the
are king.
industry today, yeah, list to last. If you don't understand how that works, that's already a problem for you.
Yeah,
Even in a good market, I say it even in a good market, Catherine, because in a good market, if you're a buyer's agent, you're going to do 20 offers to get one deal done when it's all multiple offers. Yet if you were the listing agent, you would have done 20 deals.
yeah, no, for sure. I agree. I agree.
And I feel sorry for the newer agents too. They've spent a lot of money to get a license and they're going into brokerages, with the whole gung ho thought of we're all millionaires, we all just make money hand over fist. It's a really
Yes.
easy job, and then they invest more money in marketing
Mhm.
themselves, and this is a market where really what will all that marketing and I'm just talking about an average agent. If you have a lot of money behind you, okay, we can market you because you're not going to run out
Mhm.
of money. But an average new agent starting will run out of money before they're doing a transaction because the market is so difficult.
Yeah. When I got my license, I don't know if you remember this, but I got my license in 1993, I think. 1993.
Okay.
So when I got my license, they said to me, if you don't have enough money to live for 6 months without a paycheck, this business isn't for you.
Mhm.
Like now I think you better have a year's income because you don't know when you're going to make the first deal and when it's going to close. Like that's the other
Oh,
thing.
absolutely, absolutely, And I think that agents should be taught more of that actually when they're getting their license. Instead of just focusing on what they're focusing on, agents need to understand not only now is it $10,000 or $12,000 to get your license, but how much more money do you have to keep yourself afloat and promote yourself when you do graduate
Right.
and become a licensed realtor, in order for people to know who you are. Unless you're going to go out and join a team where
Yes.
you have a substantially well-known agent giving you leads,
Mhm.
okay, a little bit of a different story. But
Yes.
if you're venturing out on your own, this is a very difficult time to be starting.
Yes. I agree.
I remember starting in 1990 and just sitting in a room. I had an office. I went to Remax and I was just sitting there thinking, okay, so what do I do here? How do I make this happen? And it probably took me, oh my goodness, probably 9 months to really understand, okay, you better start looking at this differently and
Right.
working every single day from 9 o'clock in the morning like a real job,
Yes.
or this isn't going to happen for you.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that people
Your
who treat it
problem.
like a job do very well. You have to treat it like a job.
You have to, 1,000%. It's your career.
Yes.
There's nobody going to mail us a paycheck at the end of the week if you haven't sold any houses.
Yeah.
And I see agents wandering in and out, kind of part time. We'll use that word part time, and hoping that the phone is going to ring and something's going to happen, but there's no actual work being done to bring people into you.
Yeah.
It's very important. Like how is somebody going to find you if they don't know who you are?
No, that's for sure. I mean, I see a lot of, I mean, the one good thing is that they have social media. And if they do it well, because there are some new agents who do social media really well. Like they go into other people's listings, they ask to promote them, they put it on their feeds. You know, they're out there all the time. They're saying, maybe I don't have a listing, maybe I don't have a buyer, but I'm in this business and I'm going to understand it. Like it was like in the old
Right.
days, we used to, my first manager said to me, go to every agent's open house. I don't care if you know, because there were agents' open houses every day of the week, except for Mondays. That was something to do. And he said, learn the inventory, see the houses. Like you've got to go to the agent's open houses.
Yep.
And yeah, that's the thing. You have to educate yourself. No one's going to, these things, houses are, you have to go and visit them to know what they're about and why they sold for the price they sold
Thousand
for.
percent, 1,000%. I do a lot of real estate training. I own what's called the Real Estate Rockstar Academy, where I train not just newer agents but also seasoned agents
Hmm.
who want to increase their income. And that's one of the things that I still teach. I insist that every single day you go out and look at two homes every day, 5 days a week. How can you possibly be telling me what something is worth if you haven't been into other homes? You have no concept of what you're even talking about. I even tell agents that are, doing open houses, why would you not have gone to every house in that neighborhood that's up for sale? Because if you're not going to sell somebody at the open house, the house that you're in, are you not looking to get a client when you're there? So wouldn't it be easier to talk to somebody if you knew what was happening in the area?
Yes, no, for sure. I'm gonna actually have you come to our office and do one of our meetings. We have a weekly meeting every Wednesday. I would love for you to be a guest.
Oh, I'd love to do that. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah, that'd be
But it's a
great.
true thing. You have to understand inventory no matter where you're working, no matter what your farm area is. If you have a farm area, why would you not look at every single home that comes onto the market?
Absolutely. You have to. There's like, what else is there to do? You're looking for things to do. Do things that are going to help you in
Exactly.
your career. Everyone's sort of like, what, like you said, walking around going, what do I do now?
Yes, you have to understand what's going on out there. Why is this house priced at 2.2 million and this one at 2.8? What are the differences? I need to understand this.
Yes.
And even if you're a new agent and you're starting in a farm area, how do I talk to people in my farm area if I actually don't know what's happening there?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's look at everything we could possibly look at. I don't even go myself on a listing appointment where I haven't seen every single competition. Physically myself, I go to the property because pictures lie,
Right.
rooms look very different.
Yes.
Let's
You
actually
don't
physically
know.
go there.
Like I remember, do you know somebody in my office? This is a true story. He had an out of town client who saw a house on MLS and asked him to go look at it. He loved it, and he said, "I'm going to buy it if you tell me it's good." He didn't go. The agent in my office did not go. He looked it up on MLS, looked at the pictures himself, said, "Oh, this does look like a fabulous house." They put in an offer. It was accepted. It was firm. The next week, the guy came back from out of town and went to look at the house he had purchased and found out it was beside a development site, beside a huge major intersection. And had he gone, he would have seen the big sign on the lawn, saying that they'd applied for permits, saying that the city was looking at the project, and he had no clue. And now I always tell that story to our agents too, because you have to go in person. Like
1000%. 1000%. Or agents, I love to tell the story about agents too at open houses, because we do a lot of open houses out this way. And I'll have, like, for example, 9 open houses on one weekend, and I've got 9 agents texting me, every single one of them at 2:00. What's the lockbox? How old's the windows? How old's the roof? Why did you not look at that home?
yes,
Why would you not have pre-inspected that property and called me a few days in advance to ask me any pertinent questions about the property? How could I answer this? My phone is like blowing up, and I'm not driving. I'm not driving on the 400, and I don't know the answers to these questions of 9 homes off the
right.
top of my head. And it's like, well, I didn't think I'd have to look at it, because usually your listings look nice. Well, what has this got to do with the property? Seriously. Open houses to me have always been a very lucrative avenue of making income. And I always really push agents to do a lot of it. But know your product, see the neighborhood, know what it is you're trying to sell. You can't just show up looking cute and putting a sign on the
Yes.
lawn and hoping it's going to happen.
Right.
We need to do a little bit of homework here.
Yeah. And
Like you're saying, go to every open house that you can go to and see what's going on.
yes, yes. And when they
Talk to
walk in
other
the
agents.
door, the other problem is when they walk in the door, people are on their phones. They're at the kitchen table,
Mhm.
they're on their phone, they look up, "Hi, sign in if you want." They don't
Yep.
ask, they don't engage, they don't like so how do they think they've spent their afternoon? It's taken them 5 hours to do this open house or 3 hours. They had to go and put out signs in advance. They had to sit there for 2 hours. They had to clean up and turn off all the lights after. And somehow they think someone's going to walk up to them and say, "Hey, you seem like someone I want to work with. Can you show me 10 other houses in the neighborhood," without ever having put down their phone? So,
Exactly. I call that the Walmart greeter of real estate. And I always say this when I'm teaching. If you want to just open the door for someone, go work at Walmart. That's not what we're there to do.
yes.
We're there to make business and sell a home.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree with you more with the whole texting thing. I've done it a million times, walked in, and the agent hasn't even looked up at me.
Yes. Yeah. And you
But
wonder why they're
it's a
there.
it's
Like, why take the
it's a
time out of your day?
$50,000 opportunity.
Yeah.
Some agent gave you an open house to do, and realistically, they handed you a $50,000
That's
opportunity.
right.
That's how I see every open house.
Yeah.
Whether you sold that house or you picked up a client, it's somewhere around the $50,000 mark if you sell something else,
Yes.
and all you want to do is text your friends.
Right.
It's a crazy way to be doing business, I think.
I mean, the other thing that I think that agents are starting to do, which is a good thing, is they're starting to do leases when they have nothing else to do,
Yes, I
which is
agree with that too.
positive, very
Yes.
positive. Because you're in, like my son's in the business with me, and he always says, like, I go, "Oh, you're doing a lease for $1,700," and he says, "Yes, because I'm in real estate, and when I don't have anything to do, I do what I move real estate. I'm leased,
Yes.
right? This is my job, and I tell every agent that too. Say the market's quiet. Go do leases. The best thing about a lease is the turnaround time. You can show them something on Monday. They'll take it on Tuesday because they just like it and it's not such a big decision. And by Friday, it could be closing. It's the end of the month. It's closing. They're moving in the next day.
Yep. And a year down the road, they might buy a house from you.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
never know, right?
Yeah.
And again, still give you referrals to other people that might be buying or selling. So it's always good to do.
And the other thing is that it's money. Like I always compare it to a lawyer. Like you don't want to work for $1,700 commission, but if you went to any lawyer in Toronto and said, "I have 3 hours of work for you," and they were top paid lawyers at $6.50 an hour, don't you think they would do the work? Like, so why does
Yes.
the $1,700 mean something to them, but it doesn't mean anything to you? It's like, you
Because
have,
we're all looking for the big paycheck, right?
yes,
The
yes.
bigger deals. Yeah. So tell me, how do you feel, Catherine, about mentorship in this business? Did you ever get mentored by anybody? Have you ever? Well, I
Yes.
guess your mother.
Well, my mother actually wasn't that active when I got in the business. She was already sort of in a management role, but her
Okay.
partner, Ellie Wagman, actually, she was a person. I mean, it was different. I would call her from a park bench in the middle of the night and say that people just kicked me out of their house. They don't like the offer I brought them. Now what do I do? And so she would talk me through it, go back, do this, do that. Like, so she was my mentor. I would say she was my mentor. And I know that the agents who do well do have someone they can rely on. If it's not their manager or their business owner or a more seasoned agent, or even an accountability partner, I think mentorship is important. What do you agree?
Me too.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I'm actually thinking of writing my next book on mentorship
yeah.
because I think it's a huge thing for people in the industry to be able to go to. I remember when I was a new agent, there was an agent that I'm still very, very good friends with. She was always the number one agent. And I would ask her, can I go here with you? Can I go there with you? I mean, I was like a sponge. I just wanted to know everything that she knew. And I still think to that day, if you're hanging out with a successful agent, you will learn a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. No.
And I think it should be promoted more. I think mentorship should be a bigger thing than what it is.
Yeah, it should be. I think that like part of the problem is, you have to stick with it, like everything. Like if you've committed yourself to working with another agent, you have to keep doing it. Because if you don't do it, that other agent will find the busy agent's going to just find someone to replace you.
Mhm.
And I hear that a lot. Like the busy agents in my office will say, I used to work with whoever, with Karen, and she's no longer returning my calls, or she got busy, or I think she's planning her wedding, and she's not available. What should I do? I find somebody else. Like tell her that you're going to have to find somebody else to work with. You're giving them
Of
business, you give
course.
them opportunity, and you don't have to wait for her. You need,
No, you don't. You have to move on to whoever's going to teach you something that you need to know, I think.
yes.
So, if I could ask you a question, what would you tell new agents today getting into the business? What would be Catherine's advice to them?
Let everyone you know what business you're in. Learn as much as you can about the business. Attend every office meeting, any training, anything that's available to you. You better be there because it's only there for your good. No one's going to pull you. No one's going to force you. Like you said, it's not obligatory to go to the office every day. But I would also say if you have an office that you can go to, go. And because that's a good place to connect with people and to talk with them. So if you can go into the office, go as often as you can, even if it's for an hour a day, and connect with everybody there. See what's going on. Hear the buzz of what people are working
The
on,
buzz, yes, exactly.
and treat it like a serious job. Like get up in the morning. I think it's like really good if you have a schedule. Like I get up in the morning, I have my coffee. I like to read the news or whatever you do online. Read the newspaper. I need 15 minutes to go for a walk, get some air. Now I'm going to sit down. I'm going to open up my computer. I'm going to see all the new listings in my farm area or wherever you're working. I'm going to see what sold overnight. You have to educate yourself. You have to be very regimented with a schedule at the beginning. And
Very. I'm still very regimented today, and it's 35 years for me.
oh, good for you.
Very regimented. I go to work every single day at 7:30.
Oh,
I'm
that's
the only
amazing.
person there at 7:30 in the morning. I can do more work from 7:30 till 9 when the secretaries show up
Yes.
than most people can do in the whole day. So it's very beneficial to me.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who believe in that, like going to the office early and getting the job done early.
It's very quiet. Then you can really focus on what you're doing and you can structure your day, I find, a lot better. So I've just gotten into the habit of every single day, 7:30, I open the office.
Well, that's why you can accomplish a lot.
Well, exactly, because otherwise you can't. The phone starts ringing and
Yeah.
things start happening and you get sidetracked. And I think you have to really pre-plan your day. I mean, you can't pre-plan certain clients. That's a whole different story. But
Yes.
otherwise, we better have a schedule of We're door knocking here, we're open housing here, we're doing our marketing here, we're doing, and blocking off all of that time so that all of that gets done.
Yes, I agree. And even block off the, walking the dog. I put everything there.
Yes,
Your whole day should be scheduled.
I
Every
agree
minute,
with you.
every minute. Because if you, and you should, and you have to keep to it. And you have to look back at it. I mean, like with you, I'm sure it's like part of your DNA now. Like you don't have to, you know what you should be doing next. But for
Yes.
new agents, they don't. They need to actually keep referring back to it and feel good and reward yourself if you had a good day. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
feel.
I actually, when I train, I give my agents a daily schedule from 7 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, that's good. That's helpful.
And I want you to tell me how much of this you got done and why you didn't do the rest.
Yes.
Because if you're ever looking to earn a $500,000 a year, you better be following this schedule because you won't get there otherwise.
No, 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 it's a lot of work. The one thing is, it's like so much work. Some people, like you said, about it sort of being like a license for printing money or whatever. People think that you just get rich overnight, or
Hmm.
or they see the one deal that maybe you got really lucky. You sold a $3 million place. You made a $75,000 commission, and it took 2 weeks. But they don't know of all the other deals that you struggled with and
Exactly.
toiled with and dealt with the buyers and the sellers, and it just never happened. Like
Hmm.
that's why I even say when people like come in, I'm sure you have this too, when people ask you to reduce your commission, like I always say that it's not like, and they go, well, this one's easy. This one you're going to sell in a minute. You say it's going to sell in a minute because it's not because this one's easy. It's because of everything that I brought in my whole experience, all of my experience, all the negotiations I've ever done, all the difficult people I've ever had to deal with, all the, sort of complicated transactions I've been faced with. That's why this one's easy because of what I bring to it. Not that, when they go, oh, it was easy for you, you sold it in a week.
Hmm.
It's because it was priced right, because it looked good, because it was decluttered, it was staged, it was whatever it was that you knew how to do that no one else could have done the same way.
I totally agree with that as well because um, when people are asking to cut commission, and it's a pretty popular thing today, and a lot of agents really struggle with that. They have a problem. I'll give you an example. I listed a property maybe 2 weeks ago. They had interviewed 4 agents. I was very surprised when we talked about commission. She said to me, "Oh, that much?" And I was kind of taken back, and I said, "That's very standard real estate commission. It's 5% plus
Yeah.
HST." And she said, "You're the only agent that asked for that much money." And I thought about it for a second. I said, "Did you ask them to reduce their commission?" And she said, "No."
Yeah,
And I
interesting.
was very surprised to hear that agents are just offering up a reduced commission.
Yes.
I mean, when I started in the industry, real estate commission was 6%. Now it's 5%. And if it continues the way that it's going, soon it will be 4%.
Mhm.
And I'm not understanding, and I still live by this. I know it sounds very old fashioned, but I still live by the rule that if I can't negotiate for myself, how am I going to negotiate your $2 or $3 million home?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. Yep.
And you're not paying me because your home will sell quickly in a week. You're paying me for my experience. If you'd like me to drag it out for 90 days and make it worse for you, we can. But the fact is, if it did sell even in 3 hours,
Yes.
I did my job. That's exactly what I came here to do.
Yes.
And agents have to learn, again, it's something I do talk a lot about too when I'm training. You have to understand how to sell yourself first in order to get paid.
Yes. Yeah.
Why do you want to give a total stranger whatever the number is, $15,000 of your money? You don't even know this person.
I
And if you
know.
do the math on all those deals, I use a scenario where I say, okay, if you cut
I agree.
0.5% of commission and you did 20 transactions in a year, let's just hypothetically say it's $1 million transaction. You gave away 100,000 in 10 years, you gave away $1 million. Nobody looks at it in the big picture, but that's a
Yes.
$1 million.
Yeah. I always, you think a lot like I do. Maybe we're from the same era, so we had the same experience. But I do, and I say, you know what? You're going to remember that you had to give away $15,000 to make that deal. But I'm telling you right now, the seller doesn't remember. The seller doesn't
No,
care. It's not on his
no.
mind. He thought it was coming to him. He never thinks about it again. But how kind you
Mhm.
were that you gave up your commission.
Yep, I agree. Number one thing to learn, how to negotiate for yourself.
Yes.
And there is a way to do that in a very nice, calm manner where if you're showing enough value going in on a listing presentation, and I only find this through my own experience, the average person won't ask you to cut commission because they see the value in what they're paying you.
Yes. And also,
But
yeah,
I see a lot of agents that go in and they're very, very unprepared. They think a CMA and a listing presentation are the same thing. We need to sell Catherine.
yes,
And once we understand who Catherine is and what Catherine brings to the table, then I don't have a problem paying her.
you're right. You're right. It doesn't matter what the house down the street sold for.
No.
No.
Or that your neighbor got their house sold by Save Max for $9.99. I don't work for Save Max.
Yes.
It isn't going to happen because I need to tell you that I could have got your neighbor $75,000
Exactly.
more than what they got.
Yes, exactly. Like that's my mother. That's my mother's era from real estate, which is another 30 years before us, 25 years before us. And she always says, get it from the buyer. Every time a seller would say, like at the table,
Yes.
"Oh, here we are, we're about to close this deal, and we need you to throw in $5,000 to make it." I was like, just tell them we go back and try and get it from the buyer. This is you're
Mhm.
not buying the house. You're not the buyer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've said that many times in my career myself. I have to tell you that. And it's the truth. We're doing business with people like you. I always say you wouldn't go to a lawyer who says it's 6.50 an hour and say, "Hey, I'll give you 3.25."
No, you wouldn't even think of it. You wouldn't do it for
We don't go
anyone. You
to
wouldn't
that.
do it for an electrician who told you that
No,
whatever he charges an hour.
no. We're one of the only industries, I think, where this happens on a continuous basis. And I feel that it's because those agents cannot show their value and negotiate for themselves.
Yes. Yeah. It's like,
And I see it sadly in a lot of areas now. The commission to the cooperating agent is going down, going down, going
mhm.
down. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah. And the buyer rebate
I
is
watched
another thing.
a little video on social media the other day from a realtor. I'll leave that realtor's name out of the
Okay.
conversation, but it's a whole video on how you can buy from him and get a cashback.
Oh,
And
really?
I called the real estate board. I said, "You can't be doing this, actually, can you?" They said, "Oh, absolutely."
Hmm.
I go, "It's not illegal to be giving your client money back?" They said, "No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
The brokerage will cut them a check
Yes.
at the end of the transaction." I said, "Wow, that's very scary to me."
Yeah. Yeah. It's a race to the bottom. It's like so it's the good agents who have to sort of toe the line and say, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going down there. We're not going down that road. We've worked too hard for this and for too long. And we do bring a lot. You know, we have a lot of expertise. We have a lot of value, and we don't underestimate ourselves. We know that we can get it
No,
right.
agreed. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. It should be a mandatory real estate course, how to negotiate for yourself and show your value so that you understand what you're doing out there. Because seriously, I mean it when I say if I can't do that with a seller, what's going to happen when I bring you a $3 million offer?
Yeah,
Then realistically, I don't really care what you got for your house
right.
because I'm barely getting paid
I
to be
know.
here.
I know it's a demotivator. It's like a huge demotivator. You take away my commission. Why do I want to work now? Like it,
Mhm.
it's just, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm actually finding more recently, and I guess it's because it's harder to sell houses, that it was much worse when the houses were selling overnight, and you know, and basically anyone can sell a house. Now it actually takes some skill. So I think the sellers are being a little less aggressive with reducing the commissions. That's what I'm finding.
Good, good, good. Yeah, we have to put a stop to that one.
Yes.
That's for sure. It's absolutely crazy. People are just giving away all their hard-earned money.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I go on a listing and it's somebody says to me, "Oh, whoever came in before you, they offered to reduce their commission," and I say to them, "So why didn't you take that deal? You didn't like them?" And they're quite surprised. That's my answer. I said, that's a really good deal because I won't do that for you.
Right. If you
Did
say
you
that
not?
to someone, they want you. If you say to them, you know what, maybe you should work with them. But
Have you looked at their track record?
yes.
That's the first thing you should be checking. Let's talk about what they've sold or what they can do
Yeah.
for you. Because if you're giving them no money, I can't understand what they could be doing for you,
Yes.
except putting their sign on the lawn and maybe getting another listing down the street because
Yes.
somebody saw their sign. But we work for money the same as anybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go to work in the office and on Friday they say, hey, you should have got $1,200, but I'm going to give you $8.
Right.
But in this industry, I think because there is so much money involved that people feel it's easier to take some of that back.
I know. I think you're right too. But like I've also said to people, if I wanted to do this as a charity, if this is what I was doing, okay, if I was working for a charity, then I would work for sick kids and take out. Like if I don't want to get paid, then let me do a job that I could do another job. I could just go help people on the
Yeah,
street.
be a
I don't.
volunteer.
Yeah, I can volunteer exactly.
We could be free real estate mentors.
But no one would hire us because they would think we weren't worth anything, right?
No, it's true. Well, it is true though.
Yes.
And I think that when agents are doing this right off the bat, like I was very taken back with this listing where she didn't ask for a reduction, but all 3 agents had offered it. It tells me they're fearful of not getting more business. That's what that tells me.
Yes.
And that's a bad place to be mentally, to be that you're scared that you're not going to get any more business.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So let me cut my commission up front in hopes that I get this deal.
I know, but I think that also sort of shines through, and you see that that person maybe they can't do the job because they obviously need the job so badly. Like, so what else are they doing? You want to work with the agent who, they're going to do a fabulous job for you. They're going to come in, they're going to work hard, they're going to sell the property as quickly and as effortlessly as possible, make your life easy, be very professional about it, experience you can trust. And you don't really want that agent who's just going to come in and stick the sign on the lawn because when
No,
you
of
can't
course
reach
not.
them and they're not organized and they disappear and you're calling them. I mean, we have agents who disappear. They get a listing and then you can't find them again. And I'm thinking the most important thing you need to do now is be in touch with your seller, and especially in this market. If not once a week, and I think once a week is a minimum, probably every 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It takes nothing to be in touch with people now. Tell them something.
Yeah,
Tell them something about what's going on in the market, but don't leave them alone.
they need a lot of reassurance right now. A little bit of hand holding
Yes.
to keep them calm and let them understand. I've even had situations where I will go over, their house is taking, on the market for 45 days. I pull everything in the neighborhood to show them that every other home is sitting there for 45 days
Very
so they feel
important.
better.
Yes.
And that way they're not so stressed
Yeah.
because they're thinking, oh, it's just my house, or maybe it's just my realtor.
Yes.
Let's show them that it's not those things, right? So
Yes.
that everybody stays calm. But those are all learning curves, I think, for agents that have some experience and know how to deal with that
Mhm.
because we've been there many, many years ago when it was taking this long to sell a house all the
Yes.
time.
Yes. There were
So
fabulous
that makes it
houses.
easier for us.
Yeah. There were fabulous houses that sat on the market forever.
Yes,
And it
oh,
had
for
nothing
sure.
to do with anything. They just couldn't find a buyer.
Hmm.
Just took a long
Yep.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I think it is going to stay with us for a good couple of years before things turn at all back to. I don't think they'll ever go back to what they were, but
No.
even better than this, I think we're looking at a good couple of years. So we have to stay strong and get paid for what we're doing. And I think we'll see that a lot of we're going to call them the part-time agents, will get weeded out because they
Mhm.
won't afford to be able to afford to be in the industry.
No. No. And they're just going to get frustrated. They need to make money. There are people who are leaving because they need a paycheck. I mean, that's a reason.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Yes.
So before we wrap up for the day, Catherine, just a couple of questions I'm going to ask you that'll help realtors that are watching us. What strategies would you tell somebody to use if they're looking for more lead generation? Do you have strategies that you would recommend somebody use at all?
I mean, that's lead generation, there are lead generation sites that can send you leads. I know that there are. I think that what you should do is put together a list of 100 people in your own circle. You have built-in leads. You don't need to go looking for leads. Your leads are the people that you know. They're your next door neighbor right now. They're the people that live in your apartment building. They're your doorman. They're everybody. They're all around you. Put together a list. Put together put out a newsletter once a month. Tell them what you're doing. Give them something they can chew on, something interesting that only you have access to. And keep in touch with them. Send them a card at the holidays, send them a card at Christmas. Like, start by cultivating those 100, your 100 around you. And I think that you're going to see that people are going to talk to you when they see you about real estate. They're going to see you and they're going to relate to real estate. They're going to ask you how the market is, and when they ask you, have answers. Like, you need to know what the mortgage rates are. You need to be able to say the 5-year fixed rate today is 3.89%. That whatever it is, the 5-year variable rate is 4.3%. This is what's expected to happen at the next Bank of Canada meeting. The rates are, come to the meetings, hear this stuff, and then regurgitate it. When you do that, you make yourself the expert. But if you don't know what's going on, I mean, you can always say, I don't know, and get right back to them. That's okay too, but get right back to them. But if you don't have a clue because you just weren't paying attention, pay attention. Read the newspaper every single day. I know most people go online. I actually still get a newspaper. But go online, put in real estate news, Toronto Today, and read 3 articles from 3 different newspapers. They're there, or whatever, blog.to, whatever it is you're reading. And take it back to your circle and share this information when you see them. Did you hear the house that just sold for a record whatever? Did you know that there's 7,000 condos vacant in the city of Toronto? Anyway, that would be I think my key thing. And then also just get to know the people in your office, work with them, and offer to help whenever you can, and be there and do any job you can. Nothing's beneath you. Do everything. If somebody asks you to do a showing in Etobicoke and you live in, I don't know, the beaches, but you have nothing to do, and get in your car and go to Etobicoke. You're going to learn something from that experience.
I agree with you completely. That's very, very good advice. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And you're right. Your circle is where a lot of money will come from, but you got to work it. And sometimes newer agents are afraid to be talking to their own people. They think that's kind of, how do I ask for business? How do I do that? And as the trainer, Brian Buffini used to always say, I like Brian Buffini, and he always would say, I'm never too busy for your referrals. It's his thing. It was on everything that he ever did. It was stamped on his envelopes. It was on everything. And you'll be surprised when you ask how many people say, yeah, okay, we were thinking about moving, or we were thinking about downsizing, but you've got to be on top of it. That was really very great, Catherine. I thank you for that. Okay. And I want to thank you for coming on to my show today. It was a great pleasure speaking with you, and you've built a great, great company. I want to wish you and all of your agents the utmost of success in 2025. And if I can ever be of any assistance, reach out. I'd love to come down and talk to your
I would love that. I'm going to arrange it right now. When we get off the phone, off this call, I'm going to have my assistant contact you. We're going to set something up. We do it in this little white church across the street from our office. It's adorable. We invite 100 people, and I would love for you to be a guest, whatever that entails. We can talk about it.
I would love to be there, and I will be there. Thank you. Okay. And again, thank you for your expertise. It's always great to have somebody with such great knowledge on the show and different insights to talk about. I truly appreciate your time. And I hope we'll do this again soon one day.
Okay, thanks, Lorraine. Thank you so much for reaching out to begin with. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Catherine. You have a great afternoon, and again, much success in 2025.
Okay, you too. Talk to you soon.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. If you'd love to increase your sales and change the direction of your real estate career, visit us at www.therealestaterockstaracademy.com. Hope to see you back here real soon.